You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another episode of Discs in Depth. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode because I'm comparing various different versions of the same thing on various formats. So today we'll be comparing the releases of South Park Season 1. Now with that said, these aren't all discs, obviously this is a VHS tape, but I figured to do a complete completionist version of it, so that's why we're looking at the tapes as well. Now I'm not actually going to bother showing the tape footage because it's literally just the episode and an introduction on the tapes, and the tapes themselves are obviously VHS quality. My VCR is also not currently hooked up. I do have one, and I have watched these tapes each multiple times because, believe it or not, when I moved into this new house, I actually first had my VCR set up before my DVD player, and that was like 5 years ago, because I was still transitioning and moving all the stuff in. Now, I don't have Volume 1, so this here is Volume 2 of South Park, which contains the second, well, technically the third, depends on how you look at it. I know with the production order, the second and third episodes are kind of screwy with South Park, because they were released kind of out of order. But it has Weight Gain 4000 and Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. Now, this was actually one of the first South Park things I ever saw, because when I was a kid, Danny actually had this tape, and I watched it at his house before I was ever technically allowed to watch the show. And as you can see with the description, join Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny as these four animated tykes take on the supernatural, the extraordinary, the insane. For them, it's just part of growing up in South Park. Then they do episode descriptions, but they're kind of long, so I'm actually not going to go into those in their entirety. You can pause it and read it if you're able to. As you can see, the tapes are actually very simplistic with the front. It just says the volume, and it's an ink label. Then I do have Volume 3. Like I said, I don't have Volume 1, but Volume 3 has An Elephant Makes Love to a Pig and Death, and once again it has the different episode intros by Matt and Trey. This description is the same, and again they have episode descriptions. Again, you can pause it and read it if you're able to. Here we have Volume 4, which has Pink Eye and Damien. There's the back of the case. Again, this description is once again the same, and you can read those if you're able to by pausing it. Now, I don't have Volumes 5 or 6, but I do have Volume 7, which contains Cartman's Mom is a Dirty Slut, and Cartman's Mom is Still a Dirty Slut, which technically goes into Season 2. It does not include Terrence and Phillip Not Without My Anus. That was released separately because they wanted to put the cliffhanger together on the VHSs due to how poorly the Terrence and Phillip episode did. And again, same thing with the different intros by the creators. Once again, this intro is the same. And if you want to pause it and try and read those, feel free to do so. Now here we have Volume 1 on DVD, which contains Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, Volcano, Weight Gain 4000, and Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. It also includes the intros by Matt and Trey. In fact, all of these releases do, for the most part. It has the same description here, and it has individual episode descriptions, which I'll kind of go over so you can pause it and read if you feel so inclined. Then we have Volume 2, which contains An Elephant Makes Love to a Pig, Death, Damien, and Pink Eye. And there's the back of that. Anyway, the same, again, description, and there's the individual episode descriptions. Again, you can pause it if you want to read those. Volume 3, which contains Starvin' Marvin, Mecha Streisand, Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh, and Tom's Rhinoplasty. Once again, it has the same description there, and it has individual episode descriptions, which, again, you can pause to read if you want. Now, inside each of these cases, there's a quote from each of the characters that are portrayed here. It says, "Are you sure you don't want to stay for some toasted cheese sandwiches?" And it's got Big Gay Al. All of these discs have the same chrome finish. Volume 2 has Mephisto, and he says, "He's terribly dangerous. His brain is identical to yours." And again, it's the chrome finish disc. Volume 3 has Starvin' Marvin say, "Ta, I want the cheesy poof." And again, it has the same chrome finish. Now, before we move on to the actual season box sets, I thought I'd show this first. This is the unaired pilot. This was technically included with some of the versions of Season 2 rather than Season 1. But this is the unaired extended version of Cartman Gets an Anal Probe that has about 10 minutes worth of different footage that was later cut, and then 5 additional minutes were added into the TV version. So this is a completely different cut of the episode. And there's a big, long description on the back. I'll try to make it so it's legible here. I'm not going to go through and read the entire thing. Once again, this one also has some very simplistic artwork. Alright, now on to the main feature of the South Park Season 1 stuff. This is really where I actually wanted to take this video in the first place, but I thought I'd be inclusive of all the stuff I have. For Season 1 specifically. Not including the compilation sets, which have stuff from other seasons as well, but yeah. As you can see, with the DVD version of the complete first season, here's the front of the case. There's the back of the case, and it says, all 13 classic Season 1 episodes are available in this exclusive 3-disc collector's edition. Join Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny as these 4 animated dykes take on the supernatural, the extraordinary, and the insane. So as you can see, this last part is exactly the same as the volume sets were. Now, if you look here at the special features, they say interactive menus and scene access. I don't know why DVDs ever bothered putting that. I guess some technically didn't have it in the early days, but I think it's dumb to include that. And as you can see listed here, it has South Park Thanksgiving, featured exclusively on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Cartman Oh Holy Night music video, Ned Oh Little Town of Bethlehem music video, classic South Park on-air promos, the boys present the 1997 Cable Ace Awards, and then it has the English languages here, or rather the languages here, English, and then it has subtitles in English, French, and Spanish. And it says the special features are not rated. The first little part in the case has Ike playing Kick the Baby with Kyle, or rather Kyle kicking Ike for Kick the Baby, and Cartman laying down on the ground. In this second flap, we have Cartman from Waitgate 4000 breaking the stage he's standing on. Then we have Chef, Garrison, and Leanne from Cartman's Mom is a Dirty Slut. And we have Jesus and Satan from Damien. Also, there's this little bit here that has Kenny burst open with the rats here. The episode descriptions are included in the inner flaps. I'm just going to kind of pan over them, and if you're able to read them, feel free to pause it and do so if you feel so inclined once again. Anyway, there's more of those. Here's the other side with the other episode descriptions. Let's see if we can get these to be legible. They appear to be somewhat readable here. And as we scroll down here, this also lists all the guest stars that were in the episodes, such as, it says mystery guest, that's Natasha Hendrich, or however you pronounce it, the chick from Species. And it has Robert Smith, Michael Buffer, all the guest stars, Jay Leno as Kitty, and Cartman's Mom as a Dirty Slut. Then it lists the same special features down here. Now, this season was originally going to come with episode commentaries on them. Full-length episode commentaries, believe it or not, which is a bit different if you're familiar with the South Park DVD releases, because typically they just have mini-commentaries, except for Season 2, which doesn't have any commentaries. And Season 1 obviously doesn't include any on this DVD set, which, like I said, it was supposed to, but for whatever reason the distributor felt that there was some stuff in those commentaries that maybe could have got them into legal trouble or something like that. Matt and Trey themselves are not even sure exactly what was said that was wrong, but even though the commentaries were not included on the DVDs, they were, however, sold separately as a CD, or rather a multiple CD box set, and it actually has this description here. Now, this is a bit longer than the other ones I've actually read out loud, but I'm going to go ahead and read this anyway, because it's just the one description, but I'm going to temporarily pull it out of view so it's easier to read. So while I read this, I'll let you look at the box art from the actual season. This is our audio commentary for the first 13 episodes of the international comedy super hit South Park. Warner Brothers would not release it on the DVD without editing some of the content for standards issues. Trey and I simply love the sounds of our own voices too much to let this happen. We also believe in a little thing called the First Amendment. After you hear it, you may wonder what was the big deal about anyway. Good question, and one better directed at Warner Brothers than at a screen. So let them know what you think. Trey and I did, and enjoy our first ever sober audio commentary. Matt Stone, Kabul 2002. Now on the back of the case, you can see Kenny getting squished by the barcode, and it also has listed all the episodes that it contains the commentaries, as well as the bonus tracks it has here. Bonus tracks it includes our Cartman's Oh Holy Night, Ned Oh Little Town of Bethlehem, Season 1 theme from South Park by Primus, and the commentaries have these really cool neon character pictures on the discs, which I actually really like. Also, curiously enough, they spelled disc with a K when it's usually spelled with a C, but I think that's interesting that they did that. But yeah, as you can see, each disc has a different one of the 4 main boys in a very stylized black with neon colors, which I think looks really cool. And then the 5th disc has Chef on it. And now we're on to the newest version of the Season 1 release, which I actually just recently got. This is the Blu-ray. Now, the Blu-ray description is fairly similar to the one on the DVD. However, it says 2-disc Blu-ray set instead of 3-disc DVD set. It also doesn't claim to be a collector's edition as the DVD set does. Now, you'll notice the special features thing is actually much smaller on here. I actually haven't checked disc 2 yet, so once we get to that portion of the video, we'll find out if it actually even contains the same features as the DVD. But you will notice this does include the audio commentaries from this CD on this Blu-ray, so you can actually watch it as intended with the episode. Now, I have not as of yet watched these with the commentary. I have watched a couple of these episodes to compare the quality, obviously, and because I've been rewatching South Park in kind of a binge, and this is the best way to do it in some ways. But I haven't watched any of them with the commentaries on the actual episodes yet. I have listened to these commentaries multiple times in the car just driving because I enjoy listening to them while I'm driving. But it'll be nice to see them as they were intended. Another thing that's worth mentioning, however, is that this Blu-ray set also contains the remastered versions of the episodes, with the exception of the pilot. It shows the original version of the pilot, or rather the TV version of the pilot. It would have been cool if they'd included this version, but they didn't. But we have the same Ike picture here. But South Park actually went really all out with their remastering. They actually completely reanimated the episodes from the ground up. And as you can see, it's got Chef and Leanne with Garrison in the back there, and the Jesus and Satan thing. However, it does not include the picture of Cartman from Weight Gain 2000, or 4000 rather. Now, there is actually one less disc. This one's actually in my Blu-ray player right now, but I'll be removing that to check disc 2 later on. But the disc art is identical to this art, as it always is. But since there is one less disc, there's one less Kenny picture on the discs. But yeah, since they completely reanimated these from the ground up, the episodes look very, very nice. But even though they did that, they still left in some intentional mistakes that were in the older versions of the episodes. Now, unfortunately, the uncensored audio tracks were lost. They were never, like, split up like they were with the later seasons. So because of this, this still has the language bleeped on it. However, if I understand correctly, based on an Amazon review I've read, the episode Death actually is slightly less censored than it is on the DVD set, with the main reason being they actually censored the word dirty when Cartman called Kyle's mom a dirty Jew on the DVD set, but supposedly it's uncensored on this set. I haven't watched Death on this set yet because I recently rewatched it on the DVD, but when I watch it again I will be checking it on the Blu-ray, and hopefully that is true, that it is less censored. Not that it's that big a deal, it's one word, one scene, but it's still, I like having things uncensored. Alright, so now we're actually going to take a look at the disc menus. So this has the Rhino Home Entertainment logo, which, obviously, since that no longer exists, is kind of vintage. And we have the old Comedy Central logo here. This is obviously the Volume 1 set, by the way. And it's very simplistic. As you can see, it just has the episodes listed here. And as you can see, it does contain Comedy Central previews. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
And now, a Comedy Central guarantee. The guarantee you wanted your entire TV viewing.
So yeah, it just has a bunch of previews for Comedy Central. We're not going to watch all of them because, you know, I don't know what'll get copyright claimed. But yeah, there's that. Alright, now this is the Volume 2 disc. It should probably have the same Rhino intro as the other one did, I'd imagine. Yeah, it does. So that's kind of cool. Like I said, that kind of takes me back, because like I said, Rhino Entertainment is no longer a thing. And again, the old Comedy Central logo. And once again, it should have a very simplistic menu, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's just a different color. It's the same menu, but a different color. And obviously different episode titles. And again, I think it's the same preview featurette. We'll go ahead and take a quick peek just to see if it's any different, but I don't think it will be.
And now, a Comedy Central guarantee.
Yeah, it's the same one, so... And of course, it had the same Rhino and Comedy Central intro. I assume it's the same previews, but again, for completeness sake, we'll just double check that it is.
And now, a Comedy Central guarantee.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Yeah, once again it is. Now, we'll put in the pilot disc. It actually just will go straight into the episode, but just for completeness sake, here it is. There's the FBI warning. Now, I will say it does have a different intro for the pilot than it actually does for the season, but I'm not going to play too much of it just in case they decide to get, you know, copyrighty. Because we all know how Viacom and Time Warner can be. But yeah, this is the intro. It's a lot slower, as you can see. It's a different intro, but like I said, I'm not going to play too much of it. But yeah. Alright, so now we're on to the actual season DVD box set, so we'll see what that has. It has the newer, like, mid-2000s Comedy Central logo, which obviously is old by today's standards, but and it has this whole disclaimer thing about, you know, the copyright and all that. And it has an adult warning, which the other ones did not. And this is the menu here. And as you can see, it has play, promos, episodes, and languages. We'll check the promos real quick. Yeah, I think the promos all just play at once. Yeah, so it just gives you a little promo for each episode. So that's pretty cool. Again, I don't know about copyright, so I'm going to be real careful with this. But as you can see, each one does show a little clip of the episode. And this actually has some people talking about the show.
40% of young Americans say they get the news from the Daily Show.
Oh no, this is just Comedy Central promos in general. Okay. But yeah, there's more of those. Alright, now we're on to disc 2 of the DVDs. I assume it's going to go through much the same motions for the intro. So yeah, we're just going to skip that. And here's the menu here. Episodes, promos, languages, and play. Let's check the promos, see if they're the same or different, since this is a different disc. It looks like it's the same promos, actually. Yeah, they're the exact same promos on this disc as well, so that's kind of lame. And this menu doesn't even try to be animated or have anything, it just shows Mecha right there. I assume the promos are the same, let's just double check that.
South Park's Cartman.
Yeah, it looks like they're the same. So, now we'll take a look at the special features. And Mecha Streisand actually does throw stuff when you go to the special features page. There's the boy standing in the lunchroom with Damien. There's Jay Leno's appearance on South Park. This is, again, just an exclusive thing from, I think, the Jay Leno show itself. But yeah, it's Jay Leno coming on to South Park. Again, I'm not going to show the whole thing because of copyright, but Jay Leno does voice himself, as you'll see.
I'm thankful for cable television because you can say words like "go f yourself" and "kiss my ass." Yeah, and stop in my ear, you bastard. How about why don't you take it?
But yeah, Jay Leno does voice himself in this.
Oh, I can't control them. The little f***ers say whatever the f*** they want. Now, children, let's talk about what we're thankful for, okay? That's what Mr. Biggs...
Hey, Leno's chin is big bone. You are a big fat ass.
I do like this short.
Ratings, you understand? You mean money in my pocket. Shut the hell up. You talk about the joys of Thanksgiving, damn it! Now, you, the fat kid.
I'm not fat.
Anyway, but yeah, that's the Jay Leno short. It also has the Cartman Oh Holy Night music video, which I think they later, like, kind of did another version of it in the, what's it called? Mr. Hankey's Christmas Classics episode. But again, copyright, so we're going to be real careful on this. We're just going to fast forward a bit. Just Cartman singing Oh Holy Night. And then there's Ned singing Little Town of Bethlehem.
Hey, Dad, why don't you whip out the old Catch-a-Kazoo? Let's do...
But again, like I said, we're just being careful because of copyright, but as you can see, it's just Ned singing it. But yeah, that's that. And then finally we have the Cable Ace Awards feature. Which again,
Whoa, dude.
I don't think this one will get copyright claimed or anything, but we're going to be careful. But yeah.
Charles Grodin, CNBC.
But yeah, it's just a bunch of them presenting the Cable Ace Awards. But here we have the first disc of the Blu-ray set, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So it has the new Comedy Central logo, the current one that they use. And again, it has the same warning as the DVDs does, and it has the adult content warning as the DVD does. And there's that. This is warning about the interviews and commentary, basically, which was not on the DVD since the commentary wasn't on there. And there's this, giving you the disclaimer about how the audio tracks are unfortunately still censored, even though these are the remastered versions of the episodes. But as you'll see, this has a newer style menu, as the later season Blu-rays do, where it's a menu like this, where it just shows a bunch of stuff from the episodes in the background. And it has the episode selection here, where you pull it up like this. And then it has the setup here, where you can turn the commentary on or off, and the subtitles and stuff like that. Alright, now we're finally on to the final disc of the Blu-ray set, the second disc, rather. So here's going to be the menu. It's probably the same, yeah, it's the same interactive menu like the first disc had. Bonus features, let's see. So the bonus features does include still the Jay Leno stuff, the music videos, and that's it. It doesn't include the Comedy Central promos. However, it does include these, which it didn't claim to, so I'm glad it still includes those, because the Comedy Central promos, you know, they're cool and all, but I think it's fine that it doesn't include them. However, I am happy that it does include these, because I'd be disappointed if it didn't. Now, this next bit's going to be a little bit difficult to do, but we're going to actually try to compare the episode quality. The reason it's difficult is because I'm just holding this camera up to the TV. Now, we're going to count the volumes 1 through 3 as a set, so we're just going to count those as Season 1, that set, and then we'll count the box sets, Seasons 1, and the Blu-ray Season 1. So, the only thing is with these, we're going to be using Weight Gain 4000, just so that we're consistent, and we use the same episode all across the board. So we're just going to use Weight Gain 4000 from Volume 1, and then we're going to use Weight Gain 4000 from the Season 1 DVD, and then the Season 1 Blu-ray. Like I said, Volumes 2 and 3 will count as, like, separate discs in a set. But I don't know how well the quality difference will show up here, but as you can see, it has the Fireside Chat. The Fireside Chat should be the same quality regardless. As you can see, this is 4:3. It's 4:3 on the Blu-ray as well. However, if I were to pop this in my DVD player, it would actually be in 16:9 because it would stretch it. Which isn't necessarily good, but it is something that happened. But we're going to fast forward through the intro. We're going to take a look at some of the episode. As you can see, there's a quality there. Again, it's kind of hard to tell. But again, this is kind of the best I can do with what I'm given. But there's more of that. So yeah, we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to show the whole episode because copyright. But we're going to just take a look here.
Listen,
and hope that we can tell the difference. So that's the Volume 1 set with its quality. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the same episode, but on the Season 1 complete DVD box set. As you can see, there's the episodes there. I don't think I showed this actual part of the menu before, so we'll take a look at that. There's Weight Gain 4000. Again, that's the one we're using as a control episode. Once again, it starts with the Fireside Chat. Looks exactly the same in quality, and I think it will on the Blu-ray as well. But here's the actual episode. I think this looks exactly the same as the other DVD did, because I think they're probably just, you know, the same master that they used or whatever. But yeah, there's that. Again, this is also in 4:3. I don't know if you can tell, but it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the episode on the Blu-ray. So it should be here. Now, if you notice, the Blu-ray of Season 1 and the DVD of Season 1 both have the episodes in the production order, I think. Either that or the airing order, I'm not actually sure. I think it has them in the production order as far as that. But as you can see, just from the intro alone, this one is actually 16:9. So now, it's the same episode, but this is the remastered version. And again, it's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but it is definitely much higher quality. So, there is that. Another thing that is worth mentioning is that, like I said, it was completely reanimated, so it's in 16:9. And with episodes such as An Elephant Makes Love to a Pig, where they actually reused a scene from the pilot, they actually reanimated it in this, but they intentionally did it to look shittier, so it looked like it was still the paper. Now, granted, South Park always tries to look like paper, but they intentionally used some of the more wonky designs of the characters in that specific scene, even though it's reanimated. So it's higher definition, but they still try to recapture that. And for instance, in Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride, there's still the white token character in the crowd, but they removed the token T on his shirt, and they changed his hands from black to white, so it matches with his face. So although they did fix up some things, they still tried to keep it in the spirit of what it originally was, to be a faithful remastering. So in conclusion, I'd say if you want the best experience with South Park, this Blu-ray set is a good one to have. However, I'm not going to be getting rid of my DVDs anytime soon because, since these are completely reanimated, I may one day want to go back and watch the original masters of the episodes because there are some slight differences. Like I said, they tried their best to faithfully recreate it, but there are a couple of small slight differences that really aren't that big a deal and don't affect it at all. And like I said, they intentionally left some mistakes in. This commentary CD is pretty fun to listen to on the go, but if you want to do it as intended, this Blu-ray is the way to do it. However, with the Blu-ray, it's the commentary for the old versions of the episodes, but they put it over the remastered ones, so there may be some inconsistency with that. Because I noticed the scene in An Elephant Makes Love to a Pig, they actually removed the puddle of water that Stan was randomly in because of the scene they cut where he got lit on fire over and over again. However, the DVD has that intact, because obviously they didn't go and digitally remove the puddle of water on the DVD version, because it's just a straight, release. So when they mention that in the commentary, it's not going to make any sense when you're watching it on the Blu-ray. I don't know if the commentaries are completely uncut on the Blu-ray either, because I haven't listened to them. So I don't know if anything was removed from this, so this might actually still be the better version of the commentary, but I don't know, because like I said, I haven't watched it on the Blu-ray yet. But it is very cool that they included the commentary on the Blu-ray, and it still includes the other two features, but it doesn't mention that it does, which I think was a mistake. They should have mentioned that it included those. It doesn't include the promos, which, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, I don't know that I care enough to say that, you need to have the DVDs and the Blu-ray like I do, because I go all out when it comes to collecting South Park. I'm actually going to be upgrading all of my seasons 1 through 10 to Blu-ray at the very least, and I'm going to be keeping the DVDs as well, obviously, for the same reasons, and also just for the collectability of it. And I may even be getting the box sets of the Blu-rays, even though I have these. I don't know how overboard I'm going to go with this stuff, because I already own every episode, many of which a few times over. But anyway, that's been this episode of Discs in Depth. I hope you have a great day.